Sad news coming out of Santa Fe, New Mexico this morning. Actor Gene Hackman has died. Gene Hackman, along with his wife and dog, were found at their home in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Local law enforcement officials have not yet stated what the cause of death is, but I want to talk about this legendary actor, Gene Hackman. He really defined the art of performance. He's really regarded as one of the greatest actors in his generation, and he's left behind a remarkable body of work that spans over 5 decades. He was in the industry for 5 decades. His unique ability to embody complex characters made him a real Hollywood legend. Whether he was playing some type of corrupt politician or maybe a detective or some type of sympathetic villain, his performances have always resonated with a lot of audiences and critics alike. So I want to talk today about the life and the legacy of this iconic actor who's carved a real mark on the world of films. Now, he came from a background that you wouldn't imagine. He was born on January 30th, 1930 in San Bernardino, California. His early years were very, very far from glamorous. His parents divorced when he was very young. And Gene Hackman spent much of his childhood in a series of foster homes, but despite these challenging circumstances, he really developed a passion for acting, and he was determined to pursue a career in the arts. His formal education, first of all, took him to the University of Illinois, and then later he went back to California. Pasadena Playhouse is where he truly got his start in acting. He struggled for a long time to find work in the film industry, but he got that big break in the 1960s when he was cast in a series of television roles. And in his early television roles, it really helped him craft his acting ability. But his true rise to fame and his big leap in Hollywood came in his role with Bonnie and Clyde. This is a film that marked a very beginning of a long and industrious career for him in Hollywood. You know, Bonnie and Clyde was such a groundbreaking film. It revolutionized America's cinema because it blended romance and crime and violence in a way that had never really been seen before. Hackman's portrayal of Buck Barrow was a true standout performance in that film, and it actually garnered him widespread attention and an Academy Award nomination in his very first film. So that tells you what an intense actor that he was. That film was both a critical and commercial success. Now, that was just the very beginning because it was the start of such a series of iconic roles that Hackman undertook in the 1970s. You remember The French Connection. If you want to see one of the greatest car chases of all time, go to YouTube, look up The French Connection car chase. I think you're going to be very impressed that this car chase was filmed, with no computer technology whatsoever. So Hackman starred as Popeye Doyle. He's just this really tough, no-nonsense cop that was determined to take down drug dealers in gritty New York City. His performance in this thriller won him the Academy Award for Best Actor. And that really cemented his status as one of Hollywood's leading actors. During that same decade, Hackman also appeared in a movie called The Conversation. Now, this is not one of his more popular films, but it was a psychological thriller. And his role as a character called Harry Call, it was a surveillance expert that was really obsessed with the implications of his work, but it really showcased his remarkable depth and his range as an actor. It was really regarded as one of Gene Hackman's finest performances. So if you're looking up Gene Hackman films to watch tonight, that is definitely one that I would strongly recommend. And that film established him as a versatile and fearless actor that was willing to take on complex and nuanced roles. But throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Gene Hackman just continued to deliver outstanding performances in a very large variety of films and really solidified his reputation as one of the most versatile actors in Hollywood. Whether he was playing a villain or a hero, Gene Hackman always brought this depth and character to every person that he portrayed. Do you remember Superman? He played that iconic villain, Lex Luthor. And this is one of those performances that was one of his most memorable because he played this very evil and cunning Luthor. But Gene Hackman added a layer of wit and charm to that character, and it made him one of the most beloved villains in comic book history. And he also reprised that role in Superman 2. But it really further cemented his place in pop culture. Gene Hackman also showcased his talents in films such as Hoosiers, where he portrayed a very flawed but determined Indiana high school basketball coach, and also The Royal Tenenbaums, where he played the eccentric, estranged father of a very dysfunctional family. I'm also going to recommend a film for you to watch. Watch The Poseidon Adventure, the original Poseidon Adventure. He plays a very tormented priest that's angry at God over the tragedy that they're going through. And I'm not going to give you the spoiler alert what happens to him in the end, but towards the end, there's a mistake that they left in the film, which I'm very surprised they didn't edit that out of the film. But he's doing some dialogue and he hesitates pretty long before he goes into his next line. And I played this over and over again, watching this film, thinking this iconic actor that probably made one of the very rare mistakes in a film was actually left in the film. So watch the end of The Poseidon Adventure and watch for that mistake that I'm talking about towards the very end of the film. You know, his performance, they were really lauded for their emotional resonance. Now, he did retire in the early 2000s after a career that really spanned 50 years. Now, his final film was in the film called Welcome to Mooseport. It was a comedy which he played a former United States president that was running for mayor of a small town. So while his retirement in the 2000s marked the end of his time in front of a camera, he just got started writing at that time. He started doing some co-writing of novels. So his influence on Hollywood obviously cannot be overstated. He was known for his very, very intense commitment to his role. He was also known throughout Hollywood for his incredible work ethic. He was always prepared, always ready for his role, always knew his lines. And he even had the ability to make the most unlikable characters like Lex Luthor relatable and compelling. So whether he was playing a tough cop, a corrupt politician, or a charming villain, Hackman really brought a level of authenticity to his performances that really set him aside from many of his contemporaries. So this is to you, Gene Hackman, died today, February 27, 2025. Rest in peace, and take a look at his films tonight. I think that you're going to really, really enjoy them.